Hey everyone, welcome to the show, episode 52, Western Bulldogs draft chat and my deployment to the South Australian Bushfires. So I've been on hiatus for the last week. We haven't been able to do any of the show due to my deployment to the South Australian Bushfires. That's within my home state. And yeah, we've been on hiatus for a good reason. We're going in to fight the fires. And for those who don't know, I work at the national parks. I'm a firefighter there on the fire crew. So I work alongside the fire crew. And also, I'm a volunteer at the CFS at Salisbury. So yeah, I have a background within that. But not only that, we work alongside all the CFS crews and also the Salvation Army, who I'd like to give a big thanks to, who supported us when we came back to staging and stayed there. They all had a great meal made and prepared for us. And a lot of them are volunteers. They've given up their time alongside the CFS. And all the people that were in the community who come together and also donated a lot of food. All the snacks were donated to staging. So through the Salvation Army, a lot of people from Adelaide and all the locals donated a lot of snacks that got us through. So I'd really like to say thank you. And that's very important. And to the crews that come from interstate, we had the CFA from Victoria, the Rural Fire Service from New South Wales, and we had WA crew and some people from Queensland all come in. And I just really would like to say thank you from my state. We really appreciate you guys coming over and helping us in our time of need. I think that's really important. I walked over to as many crews as I could to say thank you for coming to South Australia and helping. That was a big thing for me. Really wanted to go over and say thank you. And thank you to all the CFS crews as well. That was important too. I got to see my crew out on the fire ground and all helping out. So the CFS at Salisbury and all the brigades, just would like to say thank you. Thank you for donating your time and helping and doing the best that everyone could. Really want to just reach out and say that to all the states, all the work that the Salvation Army did, and keeping us all fed. The rapid relief support as well that helped the Salvation Army do the food as well, gave them a bit of a rest after a few big days. So I'll talk a bit about the operational side in a second. Just wanted to first of all say thank you to all the volunteers that did all the hard work as well alongside the national parks fire crew that I work with. Thank you for all your support and also the hard work that you all did. And also the MFS who worked alongside our crews doing asset protection. The MFS had sent down a massive amount of crews to help out. I think that was a great help that we needed, and also provided a lot of help towards asset protections to homes that were in direct threat to the bushfire. That is a major one, and that really was a great sight to see a lot of the red trucks coming in to help. And I'd just like to say thank you. And to all the MFS, you did a great job working alongside everyone else and the volunteers and the national parks, firefighters, and all the people from interstate. We all come together and we all worked alongside each other, and just would really like to say thank you to that. And to the operation side of things, just briefly mentioned how it went. And so for those who don't know, that the fire started in Deep Creek, which is a national park, a conservation park, a lovely park, very beautiful side of South Australia, sort of going along the coastal side in the Flurio. Very beautiful part of the country. It's Kangaroo Island's just on the other side, a big island just across the ocean there, you can see. It runs through between the back of Cape Jervis and that sort of area for those who know the area, or from those interstate who may not know, and also the international audience that we have that follows us. So it's a beautiful park, and it runs alongside where there are some homes, and it sort of started in the park. It was blowing in a southeastern direction, and it started late Sunday afternoon, and they sent essentially a night crew from our department alongside the CFS. They all went down and sent the first initial night crew to go in and have a look and see, and they put a hose lay up along the side of the fire that was in the park, and they did a great job trying to chase it down, and it's somewhat getting it controlled. It just kept, as bushfires do, they kept moving along, but they're doing their best. And it was in between a road and where houses were, and a lot of asset protection and protecting around homes. I was a part of the day shift crew, so I was part of the National Parks fire crew who was sent down to fight the fires. And I was sent down with my crew, and as we were going to staging on Monday, we were given tasking to head out and go do a certain amount of work in the park to keep chasing the fire and put it out along that hose lay. And for those who don't know what the hose lay is, that's where we plug a bunch of hoses in and we just chase it up the hill, which this was going up the hill into the park from the street, so it's going back up into and then the fires also come across the street into where the houses were. And I was tasked on a QRV, and I had to go do some asset protection with some of our trucks and some of the CFS trucks as well. So we all built a line to protect the houses, and we started doing some of the back burning into, behind the houses to try stop the fire on that edge. And that's the major work we do in my department at the National Parks. We do all the prescribed burning within South Australia. So the National Parks of South Australia, we provide the prescribed burning throughout the spring program and the autumn program. You obviously can't burn through summer because we are fighting these types of stuff, so that we're currently fighting. So we go into fighting the fires and bushfires this time of year and in summer. And with total fire bans, that's how it works in those times in between summer, spring, and autumn. So we went along and helped asset protect and backburn behind the homes, trying to put an edge on the fire. We did that, and then we knew there was a wind change coming the next day on the Tuesday, and it was a northerly. So for those who aren't renowned in the area, a northern wind in South Australia is more of the warmer winds, and they push towards. So it basically sort of flipped the other way. So it was going one way, and then the winds flipped the other way. And Tuesday ended up being a very big day. We worked very hard, all the crews. So the fire sort of went back over the homes, but we protected them, and it went back into the park. And unfortunately, as that happened, there was one house that was lost in the paintball park, where they have the paintball area. I believe there was a home, and also where they do the paintball stuff as well. So it was quite sad to hear that, but it just rushed across the road, and we tried fighting it, and it's got, it's just ripped through. As those who don't know, fire is very aggressive. We tried our best to maintain the lines, and so that was very hard, but all the crews did the best they could, and did get into the park. We did our best to manage the best we could to save as much of the park we could. And then the wind started changing a little bit and then pushing it down into the paddocks that were to the right of us or the right of the road. Well, we had a lot of MFS crews and some like of our 3-4s alongside the CFS 3-4s, which for those who don't know, 3-4s are the heavier, bigger trucks. And I was on a QRV, which is a quick response vehicle. Some other states call them slip-on units. They're the car, like a car with a big water tank on it with pumps, and we essentially go where the trucks can't get. So like the bottom of paddocks where big scrub comes out. And so we've got the trucks around the homes that live on those properties with at the top of the paddocks. This is sort of how the terrain was. And the fires were coming roaring out of a lot of scrubland that were behind the homes. And then they were rushing up because all the grass is cured, so there's quite thick grass in the paddocks. So they'd all the trees were essentially crowning, which is the fire in the top of the tree line, and then it comes rushing down into the paddocks, where me alongside a couple of QRVs, including a CFS QRV, some of the farm units as well. There's local people who come in with farm units on the back. They strap a water tank to their ute, and we even had some on trailers, and the lads would hop on there, and they'd have their hose attached to a pump, and they'd work alongside us to put the fire rushing from the crowning trees into the paddocks. So we'd run in, do a loop, come back, and this is while Black Hawks are coming down through air support, and they'd bomb the water right sort of as it's crowning out. They'd bomb the water, would come straight around, follow it right around, would put enough water on it, and then it would come out a bit, so you'd have to pull out and come around again, and we're all doing laps, putting out bit by bit as Black Hawks are just coming down, and just doing rotations, hitting the fire with water. So it's a very cool sight to see a Black Hawk just flying over your head, and they're just hitting it with a bunch of water, and we just come along on the ground, giving them support, putting out the fires while running along. So it was a very big day, as you could imagine, and the fires that were coming up to those homes that were there in the paddock, we managed to maintain all the homes behind us, and as the fire was moving along, we were putting it out and chasing it. It kept going right along all those paddocks, and we managed to do so and keep it controlled as it was roaring through the scrub. And it was very, very hard, a very hard day. One of the biggest days I have personally had on a fire ground. I've been to a couple of fires, including the one, my deployment to Victoria recently. And I'd just like to say thank you to all the crews, everyone involved, from the MFS to the CFS to the National Parks firefighters, to the guys on the farm units who were protecting the homes or their mates' homes. You also did an amazing job. And we all got together. We all wanted to, help. And it was tremendous effort of community work. And it was hard. It's still an ongoing fire. I just finished up my deployment, so another crew come in and deploy. We also have, as I mentioned, interstate crews. Just like to say thank you to all of you coming to help in South Australia's time and need. And to me, that's very important and something that I wanted to say. And also the other operations that followed through, we have a lot of smart people who put plans together through the CFS and also the national parks, and they come up with a plan to backburn into and put a line where it can halt it, or you box it in essentially. And the days after that Tuesday, we managed to put in a very big containment line through a backburn. It was also through hand ignition, but also through the aerial, and a lot of hard work from all the men and women there to do so. Also the support from the CFS and the MFS. So it's just been amazing. And all the interstate crews, while we get that containment line put through and to hopefully contain that fire and essentially making it safe. So yeah, we wanted to save as much as we could. We worked hard. The volunteers all worked hard. All the interstate crews and the MFS, just big thank you, a big shout out to all of you. Just wanted to talk a bit about that and just my experience with it, but also most importantly, just wanted to say thank you. I don't have a script written down. A lot of this is just what it comes from the heart. I just wanted to say a big thank you. So, and it's a beautiful part of the world. I love the Fleurieu. It's one of my favourite places in South Australia. It's my home state. So yeah, it's been an important thing to help the community. We saved as many animals as well. We saved a lot of animals. We've helped the farmers that lived along there. It's a beautiful part of the coast. And if people would like to help in any way, a lot of the snacks that were made up by the volunteers and also the Salvation Army, a lot of those like snacks and that were donated. So if you felt like you want to help, maybe just send some snacks to I'm not too sure how it works, whether the Salvos or if you go down to Yankalilla at stage in there, you can donate snacks there. The crews, trust me, that you're working pretty hard. They're big days, big 17-hour days that were there just helping. We got night shift crew in there working hard and getting stuff done, and also all the volunteers who donate their time as well. I'd just like to say thank you to my crew, at Salisbury. Thank you for donating your time. It was great to see you out there and seeing you help. And also, to all my crew that I worked alongside, thank you for all the hard efforts. We all worked together. We did the best we could, and I just wanted you all to be proud. And as the state as well should be proud for coming together and working hard to achieve the objectives and trying our best. And to the people who lost homes, there is a GoFundMe for people who, there's a couple of people that lost a home, and it's quite tragic. And my heart does go out to those people. That's, that to me is a very important thing that we don't want to forget. If I'll try to find the link and put it up on there for the homes. I think it may have raised close to $50,000. So yeah, these people lost everything, and it's quite sad. So that's the hard reality of it. It has burnt through a lot of a beautiful national park that we have, and from the conservation part of it, it's quite sad to see as well. And the wildlife, as well, we tried our best to maintain it and give time for wildlife to get out of the area and save a lot of that. So that to me is important. And just wanted to say thank you to everyone. And it's been a hard week, but to see everyone come together and show community spirit, and it is in Australia, it is very challenging terrain, and we train hard. The volunteers all do training on Monday nights, for those who don't know, as well. So they train hard. They donate their time. I love to work alongside and train with my team in CFS and the volunteers, and also I love training alongside the people I work with at the national parks. We all do a lot of training for these moments, and we do prepare very well. we do train in hot conditions to know what we need to keep our fluids up. It's quite a big thing, and I'd just like to say thank you to work. Work's been very supportive of this podcast. I'd just like to say thank you to everyone at work, from all the fire crew to all the management. It's very important. I just wanted to say that. And couldn't be more proud of everyone. And that's a bit about my deployment at the South Australian Bushfires. So now we're on to the last of the draft chats, the Western Bulldogs. So I wanted to give every team their time in the sun, because it is important. I wanted to go through every club individually. It has taken me some time from when the draft was in November. And we're on to the last team. I wanted to do it fairly. Some teams I may have been, I said it how I felt about what they needed, how they drafted, what they did, the roles. We've gone through it all, folks. So I'd like to say thank you to all the supporters of this show. I hope all the teams that I did, I hope you got something out of it. I hope the teams that you go for, that you may have watched the episode, I hope you really enjoyed it. And so we're on to the last one of the series. Before we get into the footy, it has been hard because it's been a bit away as well. The show's back on the road now till we go back away. But we're going to talk about the Western Bulldogs, folks. So let's get up who they drafted, hey? What number, what pick? And so pick 21, Lachlan Carmichael. Pick 27, Lewis Emmett. And pick 60, Will Darcy. So we're going to start with pick 21, Lachlan Carmichael. He was the guy who come from the Sydney Academy. And the Swans did not have enough points to get this man. They couldn't match the bid. The Bulldogs come in and swooped in, and the Bulldogs come in and they barked away through and they picked him up. They didn't swoop him because they're not a bird. Unfortunately, the Sydney Swans didn't swoop in, and they lost this man. So he's standing at 184 centimetres. Doesn't have his weight for some reason, but it's not, I guess, being 184 centimetres and a half back, that's his position. He'd only probably be between the 70 kilo mark or something like that by the time he puts some weight on, or he could be in the early 80s. So he's a consistent rebounder, defender who can intercept and spark transition play with really good ball use, precise ball use. One of the most esteemed players amongst this year's bumper Northern Academy crop. So that's one of the Northern States Academy crops. Lachlan Carmichael has completed a junior career of very high quality, having grown up playing basketball alongside football, so a bit of a dual sport player. I quite like basketball, so good on you, mate. His path was essentially picked for him after an outstanding under-16s national championships campaign representing the Swans Academy. Carmichael was named the MVP for his side and earned All-Australian honours. He went on to repeat this feat as this year's top ager, taking out the Allies in the MVP award. Along with the All-Australian selection, it was the second year running Carmichael had run out a full under-18s carnival, averaging 19 disposals, 6 rebounds, 6 rebound 50 inside 50s, as well as a bottom ager in 2024. He also represented the New South Wales ACT and the under-17 Futures Trials. That year he went on to perform a National Futures Showcase game on an AFL Grand Final day. So he had plenty of accolades at high-level football, so for a junior. And under his belt, so he was inducted into the AFL Academy for 2025 and had a consistent stint in the Sydney Swans Academy. He peaked at the National Championships. He went on to earn a VFL berth, so playing against a few adult players. He is the only one from the State League appearance who nabbed 15 touches and 6 tackles before heading off to the National Draft Combine in November. So we'll talk a bit about his strengths. His competitive nature is quite good. Consistency, decision making, intercepting, kicking, and being a halfback, obviously rebounding the ball from that halfback position. Contested ball and midfield craft. So this man could also probably sit on the wing for Sydney as well if he needed to. I mean, he needs to work on his midfield craft, but the wing's an area he could play on. Yeah, he is a pretty well-rounded talent off the halfback. He's a bit of a distributor. He distributes the ball well by foot, while also needing to improve his midfield craft if he wants to move off the halfback into the midfield. If he's good enough off the halfback and he's damaging, maybe that's where he'll play. He also utilises his overhead marking ability, so his one-on-one situations, which generate good counting attacks, running, intercepting the ball and running off the mark straight away is a great trait to have. There's no surprise that he is being trusted with his kicking duties. Yeah, so he's a good kick. So for those who don't know what kicking is, it's when a behind has been kicked and defender can bring the ball back into play from the deepest point of defense, which is in the goal square, and this man runs the ball out. You start off the ball. Generally, they kick the ball long and get it outside of the 50 to a target, or they go to a short kick, which they end up doing so to get it out of the defensive line. So, yeah, he has good skills, bit of a playmaker, good pressure by hitting the short targets or driving the ball forward with a penetrating pass. His ability to assess his options around him is credit to how well he plays the game and also how he reads the ball and the play. So, yeah, and also his intercepting ability to read the ball is quite good too. If you're running back on the fly, you can make that gap. He's good judgment of that. And he's an underrated player for his position. The Allies did okay. They didn't do as good as the South Australian team or the Vic country, but they were still pretty good. They they weren't too bad for the Allies, which is they're not as big as the football states as the one I come from, or Victoria or WA, but they've done quite well. But yeah, he's never afraid to put his body on the line as well. So his competitive nature. He also has a good tackling ability for a halfback. Halfbacks aren't particularly known for their tackling, but he does like to tackle, which is important. They do have good pressure and they can get quick at some stuff and be at you. But yeah, if they can add a bow to their string that they're good tacklers and they can add that little bit of extra pressure where they're not afraid to go in and tackle, that makes them even more dangerous off the halfback. So, and the pressure, that's what a lot of good teams do. They need those quick players to put that pressure on, and it's important. But yeah, it's good core strength, also competitive nature to win the ball. He went at 79% uncontested possession rate at the national championships, highlighting that he's more of a halfback than he is an inside midfielder, which is just the bread and butter for the halfbacks. But he can be exposed in the midfield. Well, you need to be able to be good at both. So, but he could be a running, linking midfielder, especially on the wing. So yeah, he's a versatile asset. Obviously, he can start learning those crafts. If he can pull that off, he can move into the midfield. He can at stoppages. He's good at linking play on the outside to help them move the ball forward. He does just about everything. There's not many weaknesses in his game across the halfback. I think that's a great categorization of this man. We're going to move on to the next one. So let's see who's next. If it will load up with my notes, we have pick 27, Lewis Emmett. So Lewis Emmett is 199 centimeters. He's a ruck/forward, so a big man from the Oakley Chargers. So he's a mobile ruck forward. He covers the ground like a fourth midfielder, so it's a great asset to have. And he has a good set of hands. Coming into this season with high expectations, he's a well-rounded junior with great credentials. His resume is very impressive. He's a member of the National Academy this year and trained alongside Richmond Tigers in the pre-season. He played for Vic Metro as a bottom ager and a top ager in the campaign, and for Oakley. And for the last 3 years, starting as 2023, as a 16-year-old double bottom ager, so he's played a bit above his age, so at times. Although his draft didn't go smoothly as desired after a relatively slow start to the campaign, the mobile ruck forward experienced hit issues and interrupted his process and progress and kept him out of action across all levels of football. He eventually got back to it and strung a few games together at the back of the year to serve a reminder of his potential. Emmett helped his side to a 14-point victory over the Calder Cannons in the wild card round against the highly touted Cooper Duff Tyler, who went quite high in the draft. We talked a bit about the big guys this draft, and some went really late. Some didn't go at all in the state championship side that was undefeated. Not one of the rucklings got, well, one did, but he was the second ruck, wasn't the first ruck. So yeah, it's good to see one go. We like to give the big man a shout out on the podcast. You need a good big guy in your team. So yeah, he battled against his Vic Metro teammate and tested himself against the best of the tools over the country over a number of seasons prior, and well and truly holding his own. So yeah, if he didn't get injured, maybe he could have went higher. He's an actual athlete, a multi-sport athlete who was a good rower throughout his junior career. Yeah, so a lot of guys at footy are really good rowers as well. I played alongside a guy that was really good at footy, but he was also really good at rowing. So it's one thing some footballers do well. So yeah, he was also a keen basketballer until 2023 when he stopped to focus on football. At the October's National Draft Combine, he impressed quite well in the 2km time trial, where he registered as 6 minutes and 7 seconds, good enough for third overall across all entrants. So that's very good for a big man, big 199 centimeters. He probably will get to the 200 mark once he's grown. That's a lot of ground covering for a big guy. So fit, got a good gas tank. Absolutely. Love that. I love to hear that. But yeah, he models his game on Fremantle star Luke Jackson, and also a ruck who can win hitouts, equally impact the ball on the ground. And he likes to look at the two-time Coleman medalist, Jeremy Cameron, as more of his archetype as a forward. So yeah, Jeremy Cameron's obviously not as big as that, but if he can play as well as that and move as good as he can for that size, watch out. And he is a Geelong supporter, so maybe Geelong should have looked at this fella picking up a ruck. They needed one, but may take time to develop, and they need a ruckman now for the window they've got. So, but yeah, strengths is his aerial ability, clean hands, mobility, running capacity, physicality, versatility, and he's also consistent. This consistency, contest craft. He also has the capacity to play as a mobile key forward who can be his direct defender and lead through the speed and running power. He also has the benefit of being around 200 centimeters, which, yeah, shows his ability to reach over his opponents in deep forward and clunk impressive marks and contested marks. He's got good running and jump at the ball, and he holds his space well, makes him harder to beat to get around those big clunking hands. He also has good gas tanks. It can run for a fair bit. So if you got a good gas tank and you can keep moving hard. It's going to hard to stop this man. And they do need another key tool at the Bulldogs, so that is important. He makes first contact at centre bounces through a great leap. And then in general play, he can link up with his fellow midfielders and run end to end because of the gas tank. Gets in there as an extra midfielder. It makes it very hard to stop. He's gifted error. He has a lot of error. His athletic aerial ability in the ruck also translates to his running power. All those results in the 2K time trial. He is a left footer, so he can be a good kick for a big guy. His field kicking and his set shot conversion, and he's need to make a bit of progress, but it is quite good. He averaged a goal per game over the last 2 Coates Talent League games, which is pretty good for a ruckman. If you can average 1 or 2 goals a game, it is pretty good. But if he plays up forward, he needs to probably kick more, but that's okay. I'm pretty happy with that. He'll do a lot of ruck work. But yeah, once he becomes a bit more consistent and he'll find more of the ball up forward. Needs to work on the production levels each week to week and keep working hard. Obviously does want to play injured, but showed a slight glimpse of what the player that he could become. Some of his performance for Vic Metro and Oakley made him look dominant for periods of the game before fading out slightly, so he needs to work on that. And keeps him in good stead for physically aggressive types players, and he also has to work hard to get around the defensively minded opponents he'll be playing on. And use his athletic advantages. I think that's pretty good. I think it covers him well. Another big guy. He's built quite well, so we'll see if he can start. The Bulldogs are now a team that are starting to grow a lot of tools now, and it's quite good. And we're going to move on to another tool. We're going to talk about Will Darcy. Sam Darcy's brother. There is another Darcy at the Bulldogs. For those who don't know, their father, Luke Darcy, played. And I think he almost won a Brownlow as a ruckman. So there's not many ruckmen that win Brownlows. And trying to think, the last one may have been when Adam Goods was rucking for the Swans. A good player he was. He played multiple roles. And I believe the year he won it, he was rucking. So that shows the ability. And there's not many that won. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. Max Gawn's got a lot of votes but didn't get close. Are they underrated, the ruckman, for Brownlow votes? That is another podcast for another day. We'll talk about that one day. But we're here to talk about Will Darcy, folks, and he's a key position utility for his size. He is 196 centimetres. That is close to 2 metres tall, and he'll probably reach and chase that down. He's only young, as I mentioned. This is his draft year. And let me tell you, he is a raw, but he's wiry, and he's a key position talent who can impact either end of the ground from multiple generations of footballing pedigree. As I mentioned, his dad. If he's a utility, he can play down back. They're going to have Sam Darcy up the forward line, absolutely clunking. He kicked 8 goals in the warm-up games. We'll get into that after we finish the draft chat. It's a bit about what's happening. He is clunked. His brother has clunked an absolute major amount of marks and kicking goals early. So let's see if that translates into the real games. We'll see it coming up. But as I mentioned, football runs in the veins of Will Darcy as he does donning the famous red, white and blue Guernsey. While his elder brother Sam had a breakout campaign for the Western Bulldogs in 2025, Will's family ties at Whit Noble extended back to his father Luke, a former captain who played 226 games, and also the late David, which was his grandfather, who managed to play and managed 133 appearances. So there you go. An absolute a major name at the football club. Everyone knows them down there, and got a lot of respect for Sam. I think he's going to be an absolute genuine superstar. He was on track to be an All-Australian last year before he hurt his knee. Lucky enough, it was just a hyperextension and he was out for a little bit. Didn't do an ACL and he got back to play at the back end of the year. Took a ripping mark. I'm going to add that mark onto that wall soon. And we're gonna put that up because that one mark of the year, and it was similar to, if you can see that mark there, running back at the flight with players coming. That was one of the best marks I've seen. Courageous marks I've seen since that mark, and it deserves to be on that wall. So, but we're here to talk about Will. It's just such a big family that we're talking about, so you have to do it justice. So he has got a big name to live up to. But Will has paved his way into the draft contention with relatively minimal exposure. His skill football from the APS side of Scotch College was enough to see him earn a call-up to the Oakley Chargers, where he debuted in round 13. He went on to make 5 appearances, but he had the year cut short by a back injury, which also kept him out of the National Draft Combine. Darcy played arguably his best game at school level against Geelong College, where he showcased his impact at either end of the ground. He had the opportunity to complete touch, vision and recovery sessions with the Bulldogs every few weeks, and says it would have been a dream to add his family legacy at Whitten Oval with the father-son rule. So they've picked this man up. And he obviously has clean hands as a strength, mobility, overhead marking skills. He has a lot of positive upside to this man. Versatility, improvement, exposure, production, and strength. There are plenty of raw potential in Darcy, who's a rangy frame and skill and mobility. To draw comparisons to his older brother, he can do some special things for a tall player and naturally thrives in the air. His marking ability, his reach tends to lead to terrific ascension, and overhead capability, assessing the ball at highest points. He has a solid set of hands, and also by foot he can boot the ball quite well. Also his aerial impact. Whether that can be touch or kicking or handballing, he is very efficient for his size and looks relatively comfortable in open play. Combine that with his mobility, means Darcy can not only arrive at the contest to make the initial aerial efforts, also impact the follow-up of either help sweep out the defence or create secondary scoring opportunities. The potential to win games at either end of the ground is something Darcy sees as another strength in his versatility. He pops up to make crucial intercepts down back. So, yeah, imagine 2 brothers playing in the same side, one up forward and one down back. You're going to get the ball past this man, and you're also going to get the ball up forward into his brother's hands. This could be a setup for a very strong tool lineup for the Bulldogs. Or you can just sit deep inside 50 just as easy and provide a crucial mark or goal. Imagine that, you got 2 of them in the forward line. Look, these guys are going to be hard to beat. But yeah, he has a lot of potential. Has to be developed still in his game, as it took Sam a little bit. He's still lightly framed. These are big, tall guys. He's only young, as I mentioned. He's only 18-year-old. He'll put on some size after a pre-season or 2. They'll develop him well. But yeah, he only averaged 6.2 disposals and 1.2 marks in the Coates Talent League level this year, highlighting how he has how his improvements he needs to be made at a higher level. But yeah, he doesn't get a lot of the ball. Obviously, for the position he plays, he probably stops the ball more. So it's not so much of an issue. It's probably more if he's not kicking goals, but he's more of a defender. So it's not all about touches as a defender. it's about stopping your opponent. For those who don't know, stopping your opponent as a defender is the most important part. But yeah, he just 5 games for Oakley Chargers, and he had better form at school level, and he could end up going quite good at the highest level, but he's got time to help build his potential at the Bulldogs, so that covers that well. They went for a halfback. We're going to talk a bit about the roles they wanted to cover. I think they wanted Johansson retiring. I think they wanted to get a halfback, and yeah, they got a couple of tools. They do have a few good tools there. They got English, Darcy. I think Liam Jones is retired now. I'm not too sure if he's still there. I know they were trying to go for another defender. They got Donald, and they do have some good defenders there, but can they develop Will Darcy into a key defender, which is just perfect for him? They might need to take time to develop. That's the player they need. So yeah, his brother up forward, him down back, and they got a halfback. So they have addressed the players that they needed. I think overall, I think it's quite a good draft. If his brother didn't get injured, if Will Darcy didn't get injured and kept playing throughout, he would have put his draft number up higher, but they were pretty happy with that. And it could potentially start a dynasty of the Darcys. And that is the Western Bulldogs draft chat. Pretty happy with that. And just want to say a big thank you to everyone. Also, and if you wanted to donate to the Salvation Army, donate to the CFS, go down and thank your local CFS for donating their time. Thank all the fire crews, thank the MFS, thank the National Parks firefighters, just give a big shout out to everyone. And yeah, I'll just try and think of anything I can add that can help the people to GoFundMe who lost their homes. Please help to that. And just try and think off the top of my head anything I could add which can help people. And yeah, the snacks at Yankalilla Showgrounds, please just donate to there. Just everything you can. And I think that covers it pretty good. Big thank you to everyone. Stay safe to all the crews out there. I will be gone. I've put my hand up for the next lot. I will be gone. And to all the volunteers, thank you to the SAPO as well, the police, for being there as well, maintaining closure of the roads, keeping people in and out of the dangerous areas. I didn't want to forget you guys. Just trying to think of anyone that I forgot, because it is very important, and I just want to say thank you. And everyone at work supportive. I went up to all the crews that I could from interstate and thanked them well. The local politicians as well. I just went up and said thank you for coming down and for supporting us there. And to everyone, we all community come together, and it makes you proud to be a South Australian. Not only that, Australian, because we had fellow states help. Thank you, everyone. We finished the draft chats. We're into a little bit of the pre-season sort of talks of what they've been doing right before the games. That's how I wanted to do it. Right, get a little bit of information before the games. Then we can talk about the state of origin that's coming up. And on the 14th of February, that is a big game between WA and Victoria. It's back, state of origin. Couldn't be more excited. We're gonna talk about the teams. We're gonna add them in. I am getting a guest on soon. It's all coming together. So like and support the page. Go down and support your local CFS. Go down and donate to the Salvation Army and all the groups there. Just like to say thank you. Go to the lady and the man who lost their homes. Help them out, folks. And that is the podcast. Cheers, everyone. Thank you.